Hey, today I want to talk about this side of business that we kind of overlook sometimes, and that is especially specifically revolutionary products, revolutionary businesses, and that is going from zero to one. This guy Peter something has this book called Zero to One, and it talks about basically how in order to actually start something unique, you need to find the smallest market you can and be a monopoly in that market. And those markets are usually, when you look at them, they seem not worth it. There's no money to be made. There's nothing to. If there's no money to be made, that means you can't even survive, and that's the end. So by default, you want to avoid those markets. But actually, those markets, if you think about, if you go back to how Apple got started, or how Google got started, or how even this concept of car, like a car, like Henry Ford wasn't trying to get a better horse, faster horse, but it was looking at a market that didn't exist, none of the infrastructure was in place. So how do you kind of find, and I think a lot of it comes down to how much risk you're willing to take, because it's really, really hard. Or even think about Amazon, how Amazon got started, on being online bookstore, and that didn't like, what, internet wasn't really a thing back then. It was just growing, but how to find that, like, we're looking back now, it's like, oh, of course everybody knew, but no, like back then, even same with the car, like people didn't know really. There are some hints, but usually you avoid those hints because that's not crucial to survival, right? But here's the advantage you have as an entrepreneur is to, if you really go laser focus on something, you start noticing things that people don't notice, because your survival depends on it, right? Because when you are here, have given up everything and be here to focus on getting people unplugged, then you start noticing those things that people don't notice, because for you, it's a matter of survival. Um, that's why, honestly, I think when you give away the things that you have, could be friendships, and by giving away, I mean just like cutting down on the time, like really forcing yourself to focus, um, and literally give away things that are just holding you back, like a high rent, I don't know, car, whatever it might be, that's holding you back because you have to work somewhere and then pay for that, right? Um, then it's a bit easier because you don't have as much pressure, and you can actually focus. Because it's very, very hard to focus if your survival mission in your head is having those things is dependent on going to a job. And if you go to a job, you can't focus. See the cycle. And yeah, it is risky, but again, like, focus on the um on the goal and what you're trying to achieve. For me, it's getting people off their phones. It's getting people to experience analog. Building this analog world, um, and if it's worth it. I did a video today about today, quick TikTok, Instagram video reel about um how entrepreneurship is like a kind of like giving birth. Like, you never see a pregnant mom who is like halfway through is like, oh, actually I'm done, like I don't want to do this. Like, you can't. No, it's not about you anymore, it's about the person inside you, right? So you never see that because it's never even on the table, in her head. And I've never, of course, I'm a man, I can never be pregnant, but it's interesting to think about how painful it would be. But then you see the future in a way, right? You see there's an end to this. I don't know when exactly. In the case of pregnancy, you kind of have an idea, but in the case of entrepreneurship, you kind of really have no idea. But there is an end regardless. People have done it before in the world, or there is an end, right? It's just that, does it feel so personal, like it child inside you that you have to give birth to, that you're willing to just sit through the pain, you know. And again, because pregnancy is actually sometimes sitting, resting, whatever. But guess what? Entrepreneurship is actually going through the pain. Like if I sit here, there's nothing comes to me, right? I have to literally go do things that are uncomfortable and experience that pain, and that's how. But I think there's a lot of overlap between being pregnant and entrepreneurship. All right, see you tomorrow.